Live across North Texas and beyond, this is the Jenna Ryan Show.
Ain't that America? For you and me. Ain't that America? Little pink houses for you.
Jenna Ryan is a world-renowned speaker and thought leader, ranked in the 87th most influential person online by Fast Company magazine. Jenna Ryan has spoken to thousands around the world and is now speaking to you. So with all things real estate and beyond, here is Jenna Ryan.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to my show. Welcome to our show. This is our show, the Dallas Real Estate Show, where it's all about information for you. If you're buying or selling real estate, or if you just live in the DFW Metroplex, this I want to be your go-to place for all the information that you need. Today, I have a very special guest with me, Steve Stoller, and he is the Media Relations Director for the City of Plano, folks. You guys, we've got the big time with us today.
No, I don't know about that.
He is big time. He has 34 years?
34 years in broadcast journalism.
34 years, you guys, in broadcast journalism. He can teach me a thing or two. I'm just going to sit back, and he is going to bring it for us today, right?
I didn't realize the words world-renowned went with Jenna Ryan.
It really did. It really does. I've got a Twitter account, and if that counts for world-renowned, then I have that. And yes. And what else? What else? So we're here today. We're here to talk about the city of Plano and also Steve Stoller's wonderful experience as a news anchor on Channel 4 and Channel 8. That was before social media, back when if you wanted to get your news, you had to go directly to the television set. And everybody watched with bated breath at what Steve Stoller was going to say, the news was going to say. And so anyway, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, thank you for coming, for being here on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. So we are going to talk about Plano today. Plano is an incredible city and getting better and better every day. And, there's a lot of things to say about the city. The first thing I think of when I think of Plano is going out, because that's where everybody goes. Because we don't have to go to Dallas anymore to have fun. Because every day a new restaurant is popping up in the city of Plano, right, Steve?
It's incredible. A lot of people don't realize this, Jenna. We actually have more restaurants per capita than San Francisco, California.
Are you kidding me?
True, per 10,000 people.
Well, that has just recently increased because I don't even know all the names to all these cool places.
A lot of restaurants are opening here, and they choose Plano as a location because of the demographics.
Right. And tell us a little bit about those demographics.
Well, I've got some information right here in front of me.
Okay.
We have 281,000 people in Plano as of January 1st, 2018.
Wow. That's a lot of people.
It's broken. We've really become a diverse community. We have 56% Caucasian, 19% Asian.
Yes.
14% Hispanic, 8% African American, and 4% other ethnicities.
I love all of the diversity in the city. There is tons of diversity. And mainly as a real estate agent, people are moving and wanting to be in Plano for two reasons. Number one, I would say location, because it's so close to the North Dallas Tollway. It's more, closer to Dallas and everything and closer to work. So number one is location. And second is the school district. The families want to move to Plano because Plano has an exemplary, recognized school district, and everybody wants to get into that school district.
Absolutely. You're right on target. We like to tout Plano as a great city to live, work, and play. But when these large companies relocate to Plano, one of the biggest things they always talk about is the school system and the school district.
Okay.
So that's a huge bargaining chip when you're trying to land one of those companies to come to your city.
So if you're a city, you really need to, and you're running a city, you need to make sure that your schools are good if you want to be, getting all these big companies to come to your city.
Yes. But you also have to have, quality of life is many, many things.
Okay.
People want good parks. People want trails where they can hike and bike.
Yes.
People want places they can shop.
Yes.
Places they can go out at night. An abundance of movie theaters, concerts, sporting events. It's all here.
It's all here. And you've got these 3 cities that are coming together. You've got the Plano, the Colony, and Frisco, and it's all meeting together at that 121 juncture. So that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, y'all are rolling the day. Y'all are rolling the day with all the restaurants and all the venues and all the big companies and everything. But also there's other things to do, like right next door. You know, it's kind of spilling out and helping all the other cities, wouldn't you say?
You know what's amazing, Jenna, is back in the late 80s, I was the Collin County reporter, as I was through most of the time in my career here in Dallas.
Okay.
And Frisco was a tiny rural farming community.
I remember.
Who would know that Frisco would become the home of the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Stars, FC Dallas? I mean, it's amazing how Collin County and this area, and you know, Plano was no different. Plano was a rural farming community too.
We would never have imagined. The football stadium was over there in Irving, and nobody would have dreamed, you know, even how many years ago? How long has it been here? Only about 5 years?
You mean the headquarters?
10 years for the football.
Well, Cowboys Stadium, yeah, probably about that. Of course, the Star just opened within the last year in Frisco.
Right. But way back when, I mean, I remember where the tollway stopped, you know, and they had a couple of David Weekley homes, but everything else was just farmland and cattle and stuff like that. And it has just boomed all the way out to 380, and they've got some great things coming over there. But Plano, during this growth and expansion, Plano is becoming like Dallas. Wouldn't you say? Would you say? Not like Dallas, but it's like, when you, from my perspective, like if you're going out and you're thinking of things to do, we used to have to go to Dallas because that's where all the cool people are and that's where all the cool stuff is to do and all the good venues. But now, Plano's now the cool place to go.
You know, a lot of people, of course, always refer to downtown Dallas as the central business district of the area.
Okay.
Well, it's been said by many who do analysis of the business community that the Legacy West area is becoming a new central business district for North Texas.
I agree. And here's my dilemma. When I'm talking about it or trying to tell people where I am, it's hard to express where I am. You know, it's like North Dallas. Well, it's not really North Dallas. It's Plano. It's, you know, are they thinking of new names for us to use?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Somebody needs to do it. Now, I know I live in New Carrollton, okay, which, you know, I heard someone call it New Carrollton, and I'm running with that. And that's right next door to Plano at Prestonwood, that area, okay? So, and also they're doing some cool stuff with Prestonwood. They're you know what I'm talking about, the Prestonwood Mall? Mm-hmm. They're doing some cool stuff over there, which is right along the tollway, which is nice. And we had Victoria Snee with Legacy West out right before Legacy West opened, and she was telling us all about the wonderful things. And it's here now. We're actually living the dream. We actually can go, you know, out to the restaurants and have a great time now.
It's amazing. Have you been to the Legacy Food Hall?
I drove by it yesterday.
Oh, well, you can't just drive by it. You got to go in it.
I had a date, and he took me to that, what is it called? Haywire.
Haywire.
And that was a fabulous place. And just all these people, where are they coming from? They're coming from, you know, out of the woodwork. And we drove past the Legacy Food Hall, and I'm like, I've got to go there. And then they've got some sort of concert venue or some sort of stage of some sort. Uh-huh. That's cool.
Yeah, it's right outside the area. I can't remember the name of it. I know it has the name Box in it because it has like a lot of shipping containers out there, and they have a stage.
Right.
But yeah, they just opened it, and they're going to have concerts there.
That's a
on
great
regular
idea.
Basis. And they also have little kiosks, and some of the shipping containers have been turned into miniature restaurants.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
I've got to get
amazing.
there. I've got to go there. Absolutely. And you know what we need? We need more live music. More live music. I know we've got Sambuca, where you can get some good live music, and Blue Martini. I want more.
We're really proud of some of our public venues that we have in Plano as well. We have the amphitheater at Oak Point.
Okay.
For example, next Saturday night is Beatles night. They have it every year.
Okay.
And the headliner is the Hard Night Stay, which is a local Beatles tribute band, very well known in North Texas.
Awesome.
And it's a great venue to sit out in the open air under the stars And
I've not been there.
Oh, it's a beautiful venue. The back of the stage has a canopy of trees.
Oh,
in
yeah.
a nature preserve at Oak Point, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful place to watch a concert.
Awesome.
And then we recently, last year, opened McCall Plaza,
Okay.
which also has a stage.
Okay.
And the stage can go two different ways. If you have a larger headliner, we can actually open the parking lot for a large crowd.
Okay.
And then generally we've been using it for smaller concerts right in McCall Plaza facing 15th Street.
Okay,
it's
so
really
that's
nice.
in East Plano.
Yeah, it's in East Plano. It's in downtown Plano.
Okay.
In the historic district, which
Got
is
it.
just around the corner from our municipal center.
Awesome. Well, you guys, I am Jenna Ryan. I'm a real estate agent. I'm a real estate broker with Jenna Ryan Realty, and I sell homes over here in Plano. And I'm with Steve Stoller today. Our phone lines are open, 214-787-1190. Give us a call, and we'll be right back after this break. Good music. Okay.
Have you ever wanted to be an entrepreneur? Start a business, make it grow, overcome failures, and achieve success? Whether that's something you like to do or have already done, tune in to The Next Level. Conversations that propel business. Mondays at 3, right here on 1190 Talk Radio.
Some people are scared to call an attorney. People think they're going to get charged just to make a call. With Franklin Frankel, you're not going to get charged, and you can actually speak to an attorney. People think they can't afford an attorney. There's no out-of-pocket cost for Franklin Frankel's representation. You cannot afford not to have an attorney. People think they can't afford to go to the doctor. With Franklin Frankel, there's no out-of-pocket cost for medical. The Frankels, they have doctors all over the listening area. Franklin Frankel, they make signing up simple. They've got a dedicated person that goes to the client to get all the paperwork filled out. The partners, Scott, Mark, and Gene, they've all been voted to the best lawyers list in D Magazine for the last 3 consecutive years. Franklin Frankel, they've been voted favorite law firm by the readers of Addison Magazine for the last 5 years in a row. Their new website is truckrec.com. The law offices of Franklin Frankel, principal office, is in Dallas, Texas.
Call 1-800-LAWYERS for personal injury and bankruptcy cases. Franklin Frankel, proud supporters of the Russ Martin Show Listeners Foundation.
Pros in the know start with Lowe's, because Lowe's saves pros money every day. Get up to 20% off select concrete and masonry mixes when you buy in bulk. Plus, save 5% on every purchase every day when you use your Lowe's Business Credit Account. So, Pro, now that you know, let's get started. See the Lowe's Pro Desk or lowesforpros.com for more details. Credit offer subject to credit approval. Can't be combined with other credit offers. Exclusions apply. U.S. only.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
As long as I live.
As long as I live.
A storage tank ruptured, and for miles, chemicals were pushing up against the riverbanks.
This was a big, big deal, and it was going to have serious impact on communities up and down the river.
I remember the moment this local guy came up to me and said, "They call the guard out for this stuff?"
You probably thought we were all about hurricanes, tornadoes, fighting Mother Nature.
Hey, it's a chemical spill. It's a disaster.
It affects the water supply, threatens wildlife.
We're talking about the health of entire communities and people's livelihoods.
You bet we're ready for these kinds of things.
We were out there with booms to prevent the spill from expanding.
We're responsible for protecting and monitoring the sensitive wetlands.
I also remember the moment that same guy came up to me and said, "I don't know what we would have done if they hadn't called the guard up."
Learn more about how you can protect your friends, families, neighbors, and the environment. Everything that makes up your community. Go to NationalGuard.com.
Sponsor of Texas National Guard, aired by the Texas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
There's no room for compromise when you're making quality French fries. That's why at In-N-Out, they've always used the finest whole potatoes they can find. They hand-cut them and they cook them up fresh, right when you order them. For quality you can taste.
We're back with the Jenna Ryan Show. Where you go?
I heard you. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Jenna Ryan Show. I am Jenna Ryan, obviously, and I'm here today. I'm a real estate broker here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I sell real estate, and I sell homes, and today I'm so excited. I got 2 offers last night. after 8 o'clock on my properties that I've been wanting to sell, and it was wonderful. One was just up for one day, and we got the offer on that. That's sweet. And then another one's been on for a couple months. We got the offer on that, and I'm totally excited. I could do flip-flops. And I love doing the show, so after the show, I'm just going to be doing flip-flops all over town and selling these houses. Anyway, call me if you want to buy or sell in the area. You can just send me an email to JennaRyanRealty@gmail.com, and I will answer you promptly. I'm here today with the Steve Stoller. He is a newscaster, and he is a book author. He wrote this book. It's called Tonight at 10, a TV news reporter stories behind the stories. So he has told all the stories for years and years, 34 years. He's 107 years old, and he's told all these stories. And one of the stories I'm interested in that you told was about the girl that fell, because I remember I was young, and I remember when she fell down the well, and we were all freaking out. What was her name?
Jessica McClure.
Jessica McClure. Remember her, you guys? She fell down, and we were like for days watching her. How many days was that?
Well, she was in the well for 52 hours.
52 hours.
Yeah. And, it's one of those stories where it's almost like when something really monumental happens, like the O.J. chase.
Yes.
People always remember what they were doing and where they were.
I remember.
Little baby Jessica was pulled out of the well.
I do remember. I was like in my first apartment or something like that.
The stories behind the stories, I did the math. I figured I did about 9,000 news stories in my career.
Wow.
And, there's a lot of stories that have backstories or things that the viewers never saw on the air.
Okay.
And I wrote the book because I think some of those backstories are more interesting and compelling than the actual story itself.
Okay.
And Jessica,
for sure.
Jessica was a really good example. I'll tell you what happened.
Okay.
I walked into work at Channel 4. And I went up to the assignment desk, and the assignment manager said, hey, you need to go to Love Field. We're sending you to Midland. This little girl has fallen in a well, and they're going to have a major rescue operation to get her out.
Okay.
So I said, okay, can I go home and pack a bag? The assignment manager said, no.
Wow.
We need you to go right to the airport. Sometimes we used to have like a go bag, with toiletries and, a few days' clothes. I didn't have one of those.
Wow.
So I got on a plane bound for Midland with just the clothes I was wearing.
Wow.
So when I got to Midland, I rented a car and I drove to where the backyard was where she had fallen into the well. And at that point, they were still compiling all this heavy equipment. And most of the guys that were involved in the rescue operation were what they call roughnecks, guys who worked in the oil fields of West Texas.
Exactly.
My photographer, a guy by the name of Don Chappell, had managed to get a very tall ladder.
Uh-huh.
And he was at the top of the ladder with his camera overlooking the well where the rescue operation was going to be.
Okay.
So I asked him if I could climb up there with him. He said, yeah, sure. There was plenty of room.
Wow.
Well, we spent most of that 52 hours on that ladder overlooking the well. We'd come down, stretch our legs, and get something to eat. But we were on that ladder for almost the whole time. Well, about 24 hours into the rescue attempt, they kept digging, and they would break their drill bits as they were digging because there was this very hard West Texas rock known as caliche.
Caliche Road, yes.
Right, and they couldn't break through the caliche because it's just so dense. So finally they got this state-of-the-art drill, and they were finally having success going through. All of a sudden, all the machines were turned off.
Wow.
It got deathly silent. And I remember I got off the ladder and I went up to one of the rescue workers and I said, what's going on? And he said, well, we have a microphone down in the well.
I remember that.
And we've been communicating with Jessica. He said, but she stopped communicating with us.
Oh, no.
And everybody feared the worst.
Oh, that would have been awful.
It was terrible. It was so quiet. There were hundreds of people there, everyone from the rescue workers, media from all over the world. All of a sudden it was silent. And they got the mother, Jessica's mother, Sissy McClure, to come by the edge of the well. And she got down on her hands and knees. And
I'm crying.
The most amazing thing happened. She started singing the Winnie the Pooh song.
Oh, my goodness. Boo-hoo.
And she later explained that was Jessica's favorite song.
And then you could hear her, I remember.
Right.
Then
so
suddenly
all of a sudden, in this deathly silence, you hear this little voice of this little toddler cutest thing singing the Winnie the Pooh song.
And then we all fell in love again. And we were already, sitting there, oh my gosh, what's going to happen?
Right.
Wow. Well, that is an interesting story. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah, it was incredible. And it gave all the rescue workers a whole new energized sense of purpose.
Wow.
And after 52 hours, they pulled her out of the well. It was on every network. It was broadcast around the world. And what's interesting is people were so moved by this story.
Yeah.
They sent money to Jessica's family, and
Wow.
they started a trust fund. When she turned 21 years old, she became a millionaire from all the money in the trust fund.
Sweet. And then her dad was single, and I think he asked me on a date.
Chip McClure?
Chip McClure, he was single, but he wasn't single for long. I wasn't ready for dating anyone at that point. He didn't really ask me on a date. If you're listening, Chip, he just got. Anyway, long story short, we've got a caller. Yes, let's caller. Hello.
Hey, hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you guys?
Great.
Wonderful.
You know what? First of all, I totally remember that Jessica story like it was yesterday, and that is amazing that you covered it.
Yes, he did. It's Steve
But
Stoller.
I kind of want to go back. I kind of want to go back to the Plano stuff.
Sure.
Okay.
And I had a question for you guys. I kind of wanted to know, why are so many businesses opening in Plano?
Why are so many businesses opening in Plano, Steve?
Yes.
We like to think that the reason why they're coming here is our quality of life. And there's so many things about Plano. And, some of these companies, Toyota, Liberty Mutual, J.P. Morgan Chase, when they're asked why they decided to move here, part of it is we always go back to the schools. We have really good schools. Part of it is that we have an educated workforce.
Yes, we do.
And then the quality of life here. It's a wonderful community. It's a wonderful place to live. It's really funny. I was involved when the Toyota employees, they had something called the Toyota Expo. And before they opened, they brought in waves of employees.
Yes.
Twice a week.
Wow.
And there was a big expo. It wasn't something that was very publicized, but a lot of the school districts in the area and some real estate agencies that Toyota was working with and relocating.
I wish I had
employees.
been right there.
Yeah, they were all there under one roof. It was at the Frisco Westin Hotel.
Nice.
And I went about 3 times. We volunteered to do it as city employees. And it was so interesting talking to the employees that were debating whether to make the move from California to Plano.
Right.
And a lot of these people had never been to Plano before.
Right.
They had never been to Texas before. And some of the questions they asked were, do you have rattlesnakes and scorpions in your backyard?
Oh, my goodness.
Another question, do you have to drive into Dallas when you do your grocery shopping?
Wow.
They had no concept.
Right. They have
but
no
it was
concept.
wonderful. They could take cars out. They could check out cars. And they had bus tours that took them around the area to show them Plano.
Oh, my goodness.
And
I wish I had been running one of those.
The number of employees that decided to make the move from California were much higher than what they originally expected.
Right.
So I think once people saw the community, I think they fell in love with it.
Absolutely. There's lots of things. I mean, we've got really good weather. I mean, we do have some extremes. Anyway, thank you so much, caller. Did that answer your question?
It did. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for calling and listening to the Jenna Ryan Show. Okay. So, yeah, I think that I'm just talking about Plano and why people are moving here and why. Okay, so what companies have moved here?
Well, in Legacy West, that area over there west of the tollway, right at 121 in Legacy.
That awesome
Of course,
place.
Toyota.
Mm-hmm.
They brought about 4,000 employees.
Okay.
Liberty Mutual, they brought about 4,000 employees.
Sweet.
J.P. Morgan Chase is actually going to be one of the biggest companies in the area. They're expected to have about 6,000 employees.
They're coming?
They're there. They're
okay,
there. They've already moved
brought
in.
their employees?
Yeah, they moved I think they moved from a Dallas location.
Okay.
And then FedEx Office is
Yes.
another company that opened. FedEx Office has about 1,500 employees.
And these people have already moved?
Right.
They've already moved in?
Yes. They were one of the first to open of the new wave of businesses that relocated here.
Okay,
And then,
so a lot. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say there's another relocation. There's another project. It's at Legacy Central, which is the old TI facility right off of Legacy and Central Expressway. Central Expressway. And Samsung recently announced that they are moving in to that development.
Okay, 75 and Legacy?
Legacy,
Okay. Okay, that's more Plano, East Plano.
Right.
Okay, that's awesome. So that'll build up that area even more.
Yeah.
And when I think of it, I think of real estate. So I'm thinking selling homes.
Well, I have a question for you that's real estate related.
Okay.
I have some friends that are realtors, and they've told me on many occasions that when houses are listed, that there's such a need, there's so much hunger for housing out there, that they actually sell a lot of the homes on the same day they're listed. Is that the case?
That is the case. However, the market is softening because, as you say, these companies have already moved the people here. So they're already here. So now people still have the expectations, the high expectations that that's going to occur, but that is not occurring as much. It will still occur if you have a home that is perfectly updated and you price it right. But what happens is people's expectations are going skyrocketing. They're like, all these people are moving here. It's like, no, they're not. They're moved here. They're already here. So now we're going back to normal, which is still wonderful. The Dallas market is incredible. Plano, if you have a house to sell in Plano, you're going to do very, very well. However, you're not going to do crazy. I mean, I've seen people overprice their home by $100,000 and literally sit there and go, everyone's moving here, or even $300,000. Okay, so I've seen people really overprice their home, and so when we come back, I'll tell you.
I got this feeling inside my bones.
Welcome back to the Jenna Ryan Show. Jenna, take it away.
Thank you, Dontrell. We're so glad to be here today. I am Jenna Ryan. I'm a real estate broker in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I am sitting here today with Steve Stoller. He is the media relations manager with the city of Plano, and he's also been a newscaster for 34 years, and he's just a wonderful wealth of information about Plano. And we actually have a caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
My name is Nancy.
Hi, Nancy. How are you today?
I'm so excited to hear from Steve Stoller.
Yes.
Thank you.
I've been a fan for years and years, and I wanted to find out where I could get that book and how much is it?
Oh, well, it's $14.95.
$14.95.
And I have a website, and you can buy it off my website, which is stevestoller.com.
Yes.
And then it's also available at amazon.com and barnesandnoble.com.
Awesome,
Great.
awesome.
Thank you very much, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy. Go get the book.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, yes, that is his book. And you guys, we're also live on Facebook. If you want to watch us on Facebook at any time at Jenna.Ryan1. We actually are matching, and we did not send a memo, but we're both wearing baby blue and getting ready. So you wanted to talk a little bit about the volunteers. I didn't know that you could volunteer at Plano.
Yeah, we have an incredible volunteer program. You know, when we're talking about why these companies have decided to come to Plano, one of the big things that I failed to mention is our people.
Our people
who live there.
That's the biggest part.
And I want to talk about the VIP program just a little bit because I think the VIP program is indicative of the type of people that we have living in our community.
Yes.
VIP stands for Volunteers in Plano.
Right.
Last year alone, we had 8,200 people volunteer in a wide array of departments in Plano, everything from the police department to parks and recreation.
Wow.
104,000 volunteer hours.
That's amazing.
It's amazing that so many people want to volunteer, but what it does is when you have these people working manpowers, it's a tremendous cost savings to the city.
Yeah.
Last year alone, the value of these hours was $2.6 million.
Wow.
Now, this program started in 1983. The value of the man hours put in since the program started, $29.6 million worth of volunteer man hours.
That's phenomenal. Do you
amazing.
have to live in Plano in order to volunteer? Or can I live in Carrollton. Can I volunteer?
In Plano?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I think normally usually they encourage people who live in the city to volunteer. But it's nice that you want to help Carrollton and Plano, Jenna.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I like Carrollton too. Absolutely. Well, they're right by each other. And so, yeah, well, that's very interesting. And so now let's get back to the companies because that's what I'm into because people, I want to know is anyone else moving here? Are we done with with this wave? Are we going to have another wave? But I think other companies are moving here.
You know, we have an incredible economic development department, and the executive director, Sally Bain, she is nothing short of a superstar.
Sally Bain.
She is an amazing person.
Yes, I've heard of her.
She's constantly meeting with these companies. She recently went to Japan. She's meeting with Japanese businesses. It never ends. It's a constant search to try and find companies who are interested in coming.
It's a snowball effect because whenever, you have Liberty Mutual and all of these companies coming, other people are like, we're really on the radar of a lot of different companies as well, right?
Yeah. We're almost built out.
Okay.
As of January of this year, we only had 2,600 acres of land that's still undeveloped.
Right.
And of that, 2,200 of the 2,600 is available for commercial development. So there's really not much more room to develop residential housing. But I think what you're going to see, and I know what the city staff, the planning department has talked a lot about, is redevelopment.
Okay, what that means tearing some stuff down?
Yeah, tearing some stuff down and redeveloping, repurposing. And, everything that the planning department does, of course, has to go through very careful scrutiny through planning and zoning and ultimately through the city council.
Right, and then people, right?
Right. So it has to have the backing of the community and the stakeholders that are involved. There's one area on the east side of town. We actually have a vision that the city's been working on called Envision Oak Point.
Okay.
And a very large portion of this property is the old Levon Dairy Farm.
Okay.
Levon Farms over there. So what they did is they had a series of meetings and they brought in the stakeholders from the community to try to develop a plan. It really more of a vision than anything else to how this one area that's remaining in Plano to be developed.
It's a farm, right? Still?
Well, a big part of it is the farm. It's very close also to where Collin County Community College's campus is, and Collin College, rather. And this whole area is ripe for development, but we want to be sure it's the correct development for the area.
Yeah, that's a hard decision.
Right. That's why bringing in all these stakeholders and very interactive meetings were held. And now they have a plan, a vision, that's very close to being approved by the city council.
Okay, so are there people like holding out, like they've got their little patch of land? They're, is that what you're calling the stakeholders?
No, I don't think stakeholders are businesses in the area, residents in the area. Just they really wanted to make an effort to bring everyone in to make sure that this vision is something that is a shared vision of the community.
Okay, so basically Plano is now landlocked, basically.
Pretty much.
And so there's no more room to build more businesses. And in order to grow and continue grow, you have to repurpose what's already there.
Right.
Wow,
and
that is
Jenna,
interesting.
One thing we have an abundance of in Plano is four-corner strip shopping centers.
Okay.
And some of these shopping centers are struggling.
Yeah.
So those shopping areas, these four-corner strip centers, may be ripe for redevelopment.
Okay. Wow, that's a good problem to have, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be so popular that you just don't even have any more room, and it actually will increase the land value, and I believe it would increase housing. If you can't get any more housing in an area, then that's going to raise the prices of the home or the values of the home. And so back to what we were talking about, I want to really nail this down, nail this home, is yes, homes are selling in one day, but those are homes where the seller is realistic about the pricing. You always want to price a little bit below. So like, for example, I had a home, we probably could have priced it at $320 and gotten $325 or whatever, but what we did is we went $299. And then you start getting the onslaught of people. So you price a little low, and then people start going to war over it. But if you come out high out of the gate, then people are savvy and they do not purchase the home. They're not going to fight over a home that's overpriced. I can't explain it. It's the most fascinating thing to watch, a person where there's no houses and everybody wants to live there, but they will bypass a home that's overpriced. They don't want to negotiate. They don't come in, so you don't want to price your home $15,000 over so that they'll negotiate the price down. You want to price it a little bit under so they'll start fighting over it. And then if they don't fight over it, they weren't going to in the first place. It's just so interesting, the real estate market. So the key, the nugget here is to price your home a little bit under so that you can get the goodie. And homes over 500, we're not having as many executives coming in right now. So homes over 500 are taking a lot longer to sell, but it's not. They're still selling it, just taking longer. And you might have to lower the price a little bit. But companies are still coming because I'm meeting people every day that just moved here. And even, smaller companies. It may not be the Fortune, 1,000, Fortune 500, but smaller companies like law firms, people that serve Frito-Lay, people that serve, Toyota, have to move here, have to have a presence here. And so they're bringing people here. So you have a lot of other, ancillary businesses coming in,
True.
Which I like to know about. So also the traffic. Tell me a little bit let's talk about the traffic.
Sure. What do you want to talk about?
We've got just a couple minutes before break. So let's
Okay.
just open up that subject and then we'll finish it up.
A lot of people are concerned about the traffic.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't hide that fact. And, we have a lot more people in Plano, so you're going to have a lot more cars.
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize a lot of our traffic is pass-through traffic that comes from other places that uses the tollway in 75. So
True.
a lot of this traffic doesn't even originate in Plano. But
interesting.
Here's what's happening. All the different agencies that deal with transportation, everyone from the city of Plano and our neighboring cities, along with DART and TxDOT and the Tollway Authority, everyone has come together and they're working together to try to come up with solutions for this traffic problem.
Okay.
And some of them are very creative. For example, DART is considering developing an app where you can actually schedule an Uber ride, or it might even be DART transportation, so that they're waiting for you once you get off the train to take you to the workplace.
Okay, I'm loving that. We've got a break here, and we've got to talk more about that after the break. Talk to you in a minute.
What y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air.
Welcome back to the Jenna Ryan Show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to our show. We are here today with Steve Stoller, the Media Relations Director with the City of Plano, and we are talking all about Plano. And the next thing we were talking about was traffic. We left off in the break with traffic. And I want to really get down to the nitty-gritty because, some people that live in Plano are trying to drive to Plano, Legacy West area where all the jobs are. And it takes a long time because of construction and things like that. And you're saying that they've got things in the works like Uber rides and probably ride share and...
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you a few other things that are going on.
Okay.
So, as you probably know, the North Dallas Tollway was just expanded. They added lanes on both the northbound and southbound sides.
They did.
And anyone who's been on the tollway, I've really noticed an improvement in the flow of traffic since all the lanes have opened.
Absolutely.
Now, they're also going to add lanes on the Sam Rayburn Tollway, which is, going north of Plano, but through Allen and McKinney as well. So I think that's going to help the overall traffic.
Okay.
Another thing they're doing is they're forming what's called a TMA, a Transportation Management Association for the Legacy area.
Interesting.
And what it does is it invites in all the stakeholders in the Legacy area, and they're going to work as a group to try to come up with solutions to the traffic issues.
Okay.
And some of the things that have been discussed are maybe staggering the hours so that some employees may come in at 7, some employees may come at 8. So not everyone is traveling at the same time to go to and from work,
That's
which is an
interesting.
interesting concept.
Yes.
Also, we have synchronated are traffic signals across Plano.
Okay.
And we want to work with our neighboring cities so that eventually all the traffic signals will be synchronized.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
And then the goal of this Transportation Management Association I was referring to is to get 20% of the drivers who currently are in their cars to take an alternate form of transportation.
Okay.
To park their cars, leave them at home, and take mass transit or find some other way of getting to work. 20%.
Wow. Well, that'll help. So y'all are working on that. That's awesome. And I think a lot of the problem for me, I live right there at 121 in the tollway, right by Legacy West. I think the problem for me is just the construction, the improvement that's being done is actually causing more traffic.
Nobody likes construction because it always slows down traffic. But what we try to emphasize at the City of Plano is look to the future. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
Once the construction is over, the roadways are going to be easier access for you.
Right.
Improved speeds of getting from one place to another, and hopefully smoother traffic flow.
And it's not bad. It's not like California where it takes you, 4 hours to get to the beach. I mean, it's not that bad. It's like 20 minutes. You'll be okay. So I hope you will. If not, then they're working on it. Anyway, so we were talking on the break a little bit. We had a question about the journalistic integrity of the news. And Steve Stoller being in the news for 34 years, back in the day, before cell phones, before the internet, you had to go to the news to get all of your information. And so how do you feel about the changes in the world today where we can get news in 2 seconds?
The news director, I want to get my cell phone here because I want to use it as a visual aid.
Yes.
The news director that I worked at when I left Channel 8, who I worked with, she held her very first staff meeting when she came on board.
Yeah.
And at the very first staff meeting, she pulled out her cell phone.
Uh-huh.
And she said, listen, folks, this is how people get their news nowadays.
Right.
And it's our challenge to engage them on this thing.
Right.
So they'll even want to watch our newscast at 5, 6, and 10.
Right.
And she was absolutely right. She was absolutely right. Social media now goes hand in hand with news coverage.
It does. And you see a lot of the newscasters now actually having live podcasts, and radio shows like mine having live podcasts using Facebook Live or, YouTube. I mean, a lot of the television stuff I watch on YouTube later after it aired. People have a lot more choices and a lot more flexibility in getting their news. Now, what do you feel about the integrity of the news, as Steve Zellers asked us?
Well, there's different aspects of it. In terms of social media, I think it's a double-edged sword. The positive is now everyone is a citizen, a journalist. Anyone who has a camera on their cell phone, which is the majority of the population,
right,
can shoot video and get it live and get it out there on social media within seconds.
Absolutely.
So you're getting information quicker. The problem with that, and the reason why I say it's a double-edged sword, is because a lot of the information you're getting isn't vetted, and people can say things and show you things that may not be accurate in the fury of a developing news story.
You're going to go viral. You're going to go viral. I'm going to make you go viral. You don't talk to me like that. I'm going to make you go viral.
And the other aspect when you talk about journalist integrity is, a lot of people, from the White House on down, there's been a lot of criticism of the media.
Right.
And
fake news.
Well, like I was saying during the break.
It goes both ways.
Yeah. I think, though, that you're still getting great news coverage from the local television stations and also from the major networks.
I agree. I agree at the end of the day. I will say I agree with that because, yeah.
In most cases, you're getting a 30-minute newscast and you're getting the news. You're not getting the pundits. You're not getting the analysis and the opinion. And I'm not saying that's not enjoyable and that you can't get a lot of information because I watch it during the day. My TV is constantly going between cable news networks looking at how people are covering the news and what's happening.
Well, I tend to stick on one.
Here's what I think the problem is. When you have a 24-hour news network, that's a lot of time to fill.
Right.
Every minute of the day.
Right.
So they give you the news, and then they bring on the pundits and the analysts to look at the news and try to make sense of it. Well, you can go wherever you want. If you want the liberal slant on the news.
Right.
There's no question that if you go to MSNBC, you're getting a liberal view of things.
Absolutely.
If you go to Fox News, you're getting the conservative view of things. I mean, I don't think anyone would dispute that. Here's the problem I have with it. Journalism does not have a slant.
Journalism does not have a slant. You probably learned that in school.
We did. We learned that in
school.
That was one of the basics of journalism in J school. But if you have a slant, it's a show and not a newscast. That's the difference.
But who decides? Who decides what's, the real news and what's not? I mean, what about censorship? What do you think about that?
Well,
of the news?
I don't like censorship. I mean, when you talk about freedom of the press, you want to have the ability. But, the age-old argument is, does that mean a person could go into a crowded movie theater and yell fire when there's no fire in there,
Freedom of speech.
You have freedom of speech, but there should be some limits.
Right.
To what's considered acceptable and what's not.
Right.
The thing now with all these fake news is you can go on social media and it's really hard to discern the difference between a legitimate news organization's post and somebody who's trying to spout some philosophy through a fake news story. They look
either way.
They look exactly the same.
Yeah, and they're actually making, fake little graphics that make it look like the real news. And you really have to watch out either way because there's also a lot of, they use psychological tactics to get people all reared up and you really have to be careful in watching the news. But I think that we are an intelligent society and we're smart. We're going to get that news one way or the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think, everyone finds their comfort level and everyone goes to the place where they feel they're getting the best product.
Yes.
And for some people, it's what they think is the most fair and objective.
Right.
For other people, it might be what they feel is closer to their political beliefs.
Well, that really opens up something. I really think that it's a good idea to listen to a little bit of this side and a little bit of this side to kind of get a more balanced view. Because if you're just totally staying on what you believe, then you're not going to ever hear anything else, and you're just going to be extreme.
I saw a commercial, I guess it was an ad on CNN recently that I really liked.
Yeah.
The very beginning of the ad, it says, watch CNN. And then it says, watch the BBC. Read the New York Times. Read the laws. It keeps giving you all these different media outlets.
Does it say Drudge Report?
I don't remember all of them. There were so many, and they start
Infowars?
flashing really quick. And the whole gist of it was, don't go to one place to get your perception of what's happening in the world. Go to a lot of different places.
Right.
Go to a lot of different sources and then base your judgment and a perception on an overview of many and not just one, which I think is really good advice.
I think that's vital. Well, we have really covered a lot today. We have covered all about Plano, which is a wonderful city. And you had mentioned, congratulations, you overcame cancer, lymphoma cancer. That's in your book, in his book, Tonight at 10, a TV news reporter's Stories Behind the Stories with Steve Stoller. So tell us about that. We've got just a few minutes.
Well, it's been 21 years, and the reason why I always remember is because my youngest son just celebrated his 21st birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Jake! And he was born when I was going through cancer treatment for Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Wow!
So our medical reporter at Channel 4 did a series of stories on it, and it's funny, people still will bring it up to me 21 years later. It was called The Cancer Chronicles, and they followed me from the day I was diagnosed, all through treatment, the baby being born, until the day my oncologist said, we consider you cured of your disease.
That's kind of like reality TV back 21 years ago.
It was amazing. And I'll tell you, I got letters from hundreds of viewers. I wrote every single person back, too, because it was so important to me. It's like these total strangers are writing me these heartfelt letters. I wanted them to know how much it meant to me.
Wow.
And they became my support group.
Wow,
yeah,
that is awesome.
Strangers in the community who were just, kind, caring souls.
That is wonderful. There are kind, caring people out there. And thank you so much to the listeners of the show. We love coming here. I love coming here every Sunday and bringing a new, interesting guest and with me and talking about information that's important to you. You guys, if you wanted me to talk about something, just come on to my Facebook at jenna.ryan1 and tell me what you want to hear and who you want to hear from. And we'll get them on the show, and we will pick their brain and learn all about them. Thank you so much for joining us today, Steve.
My pleasure, Jenna. Thank you again for having me on.
Thank you. Y'all have a great week. See you next week.